Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is a condensed version of today's episode of Undisputed, handpicked with the best segments and discussions. Skip, Shannon, let's go.
Tom Brady made his preseason debut in a Super Bowl rematch against the Eagles last night. The 41-year-old actually played the entire first half, and in his first series, he was a perfect 5 for 5, Rob Parker. He threw a touchdown to Chris Hogan. Brady added another TD to James White. He finished with 172 passing yards in the win. The Patriots are the overwhelming favorite to represent the AFC again in the Super Bowl, but Adam Schefter is reporting that their first-round pick offensive tackle Isaiah Wynn went down last night with an Achilles. He is out for the season. So we're going to bring in right now former NFL running back Rashad Jennings. Let's talk about the Patriots. We heard from these guys earlier in the show. Do you think they will dominate the AFC this season?
That's tough to use the word dominate. I mean, dominate is a strong word. No, I don't think they're going to dominate the AFC like they've done before. I mean, you're already cheesing.
Yeah,
they're not going to dominate because, I mean, you got the Steelers. They're going to be tough to play. You got actually the sneaky Titans. They're very tough to play. I'm not calling them Super Bowl contenders, but they're going to be tough to beat. And then you got the Jaguars. That's one of the teams. The Jaguars is probably the toughest team in the AFC to me, personally. And then, I just like to throw it out. I think the Browns got more dogs in the pound this year, so it's going to be fun to watch them. But listen, dominate, dominate. You can't say dominate. They lost Matt Patricia, who was a defensive coordinator over there, now with the Detroit Lions. I think he was a big recipe to the success of that team, and I'm anxious to see how they're going to play without him.
Recipe to the success of what? They had no defense.
Listen,
24th last year.
They had no defense. When I look at the Patriots, I look at one glaring thing, and that is your division. Would they dominate their division? Absolutely. Week in and week out, we will crown them year after year after year. We will continue to crown the New England Patriots NFC East champions, regardless if they are playing a game or not. We know that they're going to win that division. That trickles over into all the rest of their games. It just allows them to ensure we got 6 games. We're guaranteed, and you know better than any other person up here, outside of myself, nothing in football is guaranteed.
Nothing.
But the New England Patriots winning the AFC East, that's guaranteed.
Listen,
but 9 straight.
That's guaranteed.
I mean, beating the Bills, beating the
Jets,
yes,
the Dolphins.
And the Dolphins. I get that, but we're talking about the whole entire AFC.
We are.
I can't say the word dominate.
We are. They have Jacksonville early. They have the Texans early, first 2 weeks. So when you get teams early and they're not a solid veteran team that understands winning and how to win early and what it means to win early and late, you can catch them slipping. And I don't think we'll see the Jacksonville Jaguars coming out with guns blazing.
First
like
place
they did
schedule for the Jags. They also have to face Deshaun Watson twice, Andrew Luck twice. So that division's brutal. But where I keep coming back to, Rashad, this is a team that's been to the AFC title game 7 years in a row.
Yeah.
That, to me, is domination.
This is not a Lifetime Achievement Award. Stop with the past.
But the AFC is softer than the toilet paper you use, man. The NFC is stacked, ridiculously stacked. We're talking about like 8 or 9 deep in the NFC. The AFC, as he just said, it's Patriots, it's Steelers, and a lot of question marks. You know who has the third best odds in Vegas? LA Chargers. They have the third highest over-under for wins, 9.5 in the AFC. That's how weak the conference is. That's why they'll dominate. I'm not saying the defense is very good. I don't think the skill position players are great. The offensive line now maybe down 2 guys. They're still going to win 11 games. They're still going to win 11.
You're just saying, all the other stuff that's gone wrong with them, the big feud between Brady and Belichick that I think is going to carry over.
Nothing.
It's going to carry over.
That means nothing.
Okay?
It can play a role.
Also, you have Tom Brady, who's turning over at 41. I've given you the numbers. The numbers when these quarterbacks get this age, Brett Favre went from 33 touchdowns at age 40 to 11. This is where the wheels fall off for a guy like Tom Brady.
The wheels fall off. He ain't never heard of TB12, Rashad. Come on.
I just told you, the wheels could fall off on Tom Brady when you get this age. Because Brett Favre had the same numbers at 40. He had 32 touchdowns. And then the next year, things didn't work out. All I'm saying is the time has come where the Patriots are not going to be. It happens to great teams that have great runs. At some point, everything doesn't work out. They're trying to hold it together with tape and glue. They just lost another.
He's trying to hold it together from laughing at this.
But why is it this year that you think that? Because they have been so consistent year after year.
Because it was last year.
No, it wasn't
and it didn't
last
happen.
year.
He was saying
Because
the
the
same
Jaguars
thing.
almost
The
beat them.
Jaguars were up
days.
20-10 in the fourth quarter in New England.
So
But
you-
New
you're
England
trying to-
did what New
But did
England
they
does.
win?
No, they didn't win.
Okay.
All right.
Listen,
How many yards Tom Brady throw for in the Super Bowl? 500?
How many points did he leave on the field?
This guy's saying
Did he
anything
turn the
right
ball
now.
over?
He's firing on all cylinders.
Listen, so again, it's not necessarily about what the Patriots are doing is why they would dominate or not. We got to think about and account how good these other teams are that we mentioned. Like, it's not, they're not the big brothers that you only can allow the little brothers to play. These dudes out here balling. You gonna tell me that the Pittsburgh Steelers, they gonna dominate them? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I like the Steelers a lot. I still am angry at them for choking against the Patriots last year in the regular season. Cost them home field advantage. But listen, we talk about locker room issues. Where's Le'Veon Bell? He's up in the strip club.
If we go off
you know,
strip club,
where's the defense on the Pittsburgh Steelers?
If we go off what history has
Rock
told
low,
us, they
Dayton.
have dominated the
Porn
Steelers.
stars,
Rocklow
what's the issue?
If we go off what history has shown us, they have dominated the Steelers when it counts.
This
Big
year.
games.
Y'all think they're gonna dominate this year? Dominate. We use the word. I'm going back to the word. We didn't talk about how good they're going to be, how consistent they have been historically. We said the word dominate this year.
What do you want to put? 11 wins
when we
equals
say
domination? 12?
Let's
What you want?
specify. Let's
break it down.
break it down. Will they win the AFC conference?
Now we talking. I still say, that's tough.
That is
See, I
tough.
can't come off the back and say they won't dominate. I can tell you that right now. They ain't gonna dominate. But will they win? It's between three. I got between three teams, and they're one of them.
Let's define the word dominate, because it's not like they're going to beat their opponents by 20 points every week, but they're going to have a double-digit win record. They're going to win.
Are they?
I think
They
they
are.
are. I know that you
Are
don't, but
they?
they're going to
They
win the
are.
AFC East, and they're going to make a deep playoff run.
That's domination. is it
That's
not?
dominating.
Yeah, that's dominating.
I'm saying that's not going to happen. I think everybody lives
Because
in the past
Tom
on the
Brady
Patriots.
is turning 41.
I gave you the numbers.
That's
Quarterbacks. I've given you the
He was
numbers.
so excited about that stat, too,
Because
this
it's-
morning. He's
and
like, I
You
got
think
gold.
he has like a dozen quarterbacks who fell off a cliff? One guy, Brett Favre, that's it.
No, Brett Favre and Peyton Manning.
Peyton
they
Manning
both-
had the neck
they
surgery.
both fell
Broken
off.
neck.
Yeah.
They both fell off, and I'm telling you, at that age,
and
you
he
know
said,
that?
we're the analysts
He
that don't
changed.
want to do the work. He just brought up
One guy.
He's 41, guys. So his wheels are gonna fall off.
Yeah, 365 days to do it to you on it.
I just think that everybody, it's so easy to just pick the Patriots all the time. Everybody does it every year because it's just easy. I'm saying take a real look at where they are, what's going on. He just had another injury. They're trying. They're a mass unit. And then they got Tom Brady. Look at the receivers that they have. This isn't the same team that won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. It's not.
It's never the
Not the
same
same
team with
team.
them.
But
I
they
think
have
that's
found
what
ways to make it work
exactly. Thank
every
you,
year.
James. That's what's so impressive. That's what has made them dominant because they have revolved players and brought players in and out and in and out, and they have consistently done what every other organization is trying to do: win.
Does the well ever run dry?
It does.
And I'm
Eventually.
predicting that the well's going to run dry finally.
But you're backing it up with nothing.
No, I'm not. No, I'm telling you that usually when a great
Tom
team...
Brady's going to throw for 11
I didn't say that. I didn't
and
say
19
that.
interceptions.
But usually when a great team, when it's all over, it's never gradual. It's one day you're in the Super Bowl and the next day you're not in the playoffs.
fall off the map.
That's the way it happens. It's not 11 wins, 10 wins, 9 wins. It's no countdown. 1 year, things don't work out your way. That field goal that you always made to win the game cost you a game. Tom Brady goes out for a pass. He misses it. Tom Brady in the fourth quarter gets strip sacked and loses the Super Bowl. That's what happens. And I'm telling you, at 41, Tom Brady will not. He won the MVP by default. He did. Tom Brady's not that same guy.
James White should have won it.
As the Jennings said earlier in this segment, nothing is guaranteed in football. But when you look at statistics, how many years has the Patriots been there?
All right, we're talking 2 decades of dominance, Rob. And all of a sudden it's going to fall off because one guy turned 41. Remember when they lost Brady to injury in week 1?
Yeah.
Matt Castle steps in. How many wins they get that year?
Did they make the playoffs?
How many
11.
wins? How many
I
wins?
think it was
11 wins with a backup quarterback who
11.
never
Did
played.
they make the playoffs?
They won 11 games.
Did they make the
They did
playoffs?
not, but they won 11 games.
Took them a while to answer that, didn't it?
It's a fact. They won 11 games and they missed the playoffs.
Is it about winning games or making the playoffs?
I think it's both, right?
No, it's about
With
it's
a
about making
backup
the
quarterback,
playoffs.
they exceeded
That
expectations.
organization is about playoffs. Come on.
Yeah, with the Patriots is about playoffs.
With a backup quarterback?
Yeah, with
backup quarterback, it doesn't matter if you're a backup
Matt
or
Castle,
not.
when Brady goes down, no expectations that they would even win 11
Why?
games. Matt Castle was unproven. He won.
So do you think it's
nothing in college.
Tom Brady or do you think it's the system then? Because
now we're getting to the good question.
Because apparently
We're getting
anybody
to the
can
good
come
question.
in.
Rashad, do you have more time for us?
I do.
Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. We got more. Are we seeing a new and improved Odell Beckham, former
Hey,
teammate,
my guy.
after saying he's not concerned about a contract extension? We're going to discuss that one next.
No mercy.
Odell Beckham Jr. is about to get paid a lot of money eventually. Beckham said yesterday that he's not concerned about getting a new deal, adding, quote, "I definitely think it's going to work itself out. It's a matter of time, just like everything in life." Beckham really seems to be saying the right things this summer, adding that getting better is, quote, "all I'm focused on." All right, so we are joined once again by Rashad Jennings, former teammate of Odell. What is this Odell Beckham Jr. that we see?
Give us
is
some
this
insight.
a more mature player?
This is Odell Beckham Jr., the guy who's always been there. I personally believe in this type of situation, I mean, I obviously came in as a rookie, watched him be able to grow. Well, I was there when he first got drafted. This guy is one of the most hardest working guys you're going to see. All these acrobatic catches, he practices them. He's the first out there on the football field, catching passes, 100 off the jug before practice starts. It just so happens that the camera falls in love with him on all the other antics, all right? Now, this, I wouldn't say is a different Odell. I think we're just highlighting something different of Odell that we aren't accustomed to putting on TV. You're seeing a guy who wants to put the team out there. He wants to win. He wants to help. And he wants to be the best player that he could possibly be. He's always been that. Yes, he does get excited. That's his passion. And nobody's ever discredited him for that or faulted him for that. That's played with him because we know what kind of person he is. So to me, I don't see anything different. I think everyone else is seeing something different.
I'll say straight up, I have no issues with him wanting to get paid and get every nickel that he can, demand or command with his talents. But the change of him, like he's matured or something, that's only because he has to, because he knows that he's not getting this deal that they thought that they might be able to work. So to cry and complain about it or make us stink, it's not going to get you the deal any faster or sooner. So I think he's basically been forced into this to just say, it's going to take care of itself. I have to live with it. I'm going to go out and play. He was hurt last year. He needs to come out and have a good season. If he plays well, he's going to get paid. So just go play. Somebody probably told him, stop with the contract. You're not getting it. You're not going to be the highest paid receiver and all this. So just go out, play football, do what you do, and you will get paid. So I think he's been forced into it, not that he's made some mental note and said, well, I've matured now and I'm not going to talk about the contract.
But that is
Interesting
maturing, isn't
word.
it? Isn't it kind of reading the situation and saying, you know what?
But I think he was forced in it in that he realizes he's not getting it. So I'm just saying he's not going to make a stink that he was talking about it all the time before how he wanted this contract.
Yeah.
I just think he realized it's not happening. It's dumb to talk about.
We use some interesting words around here. First, dominate, and now forced. We think he was forced to say that.
Well, Rashad, I mean, before the draft, we had Adam Schefter reporting Odell Beckham's getting traded. And that's because of the antics. And let me start here. Odell Beckham, obviously very talented, one of the best receivers in the league. But who is the real Odell Beckham? I'll ask you. Is it the guy who gets in fights in the end zone with Josh Norman a couple years ago? Is it the guy who celebrates by pretending to urinate on a fire hydrant? Is it a guy who cries on the sideline and proposes to a kicking net? Or is it the choir boy now who comes into camp, oh, it's going to work itself out? A year ago, this dude came in saying, I want to be the highest paid player in the NFL. I want to be the highest paid receiver. I just don't think we know who the real Odell Beckham is yet. Maybe you do. You've been in the locker room with him. And I'll give him credit for maturing these last, since that pizza box in the hotel room incident. Remember that? Ooh. Been pretty quiet for Odell since then. He's doing a good job. I personally don't think the Giants are going to pay him. I just don't see it happening.
So now all of a sudden, guys can't grow up. They can't mature. They can't
I didn't say
change.
Can't
They can't
mature.
evolve.
Admit it's been a big leap in a year from I want to be the highest paid to it's going to work itself out.
I think we're seeing a different Odell, and here's a couple reasons why. I think number one is because he did not play a full season last year. He is coming off an injury that mentally, and you know this being hurt before, when you stand back and you stand on that sideline and you start watching guys making plays, you start thinking, man, I was doing that. I was making those type of plays. Doubt starts to try to creep into your mind that, man, I got to get back out there to see if I can still do that, because it looks so foreign to you because you haven't done it in a while. So I think that is one of his motivations for, look, I'm not going to draw or bring any more added attention to myself right now because I need to get back to form. I need to get back to doing what I did to make me the best and most electrifying receiver in the game when healthy.
But how long can he do that, Greg?
No, and two, he's driven by the fact that, look, I've seen the way this can work with guys holding out or causing problems or creating distractions because of contract situations. Look at Le'Veon Bell. Is it helping his situation that he's holding out? We don't know. Most would say it was hurting him. So why not just go out there, play? Because I didn't play last year. I got to put some more film out there so you can remember how valuable I really am and how much I mean to this team.
But that's what I'm saying when I say forced, because he doesn't have that and he hadn't played last year.
No, I think that's just maturity, being wise about your situation, looking at everything and assessing it and saying, look, man, let me.
If he was coming off a great year and wasn't injured, he wouldn't be talking about everything.
He wouldn't say
let him. Talking about everything would be. Everything's going to work itself out.
He wouldn't say everything will work itself out. He would be running around at the beginning of the season saying, "Pay me." Is that what you believe?
That's what he would. Yes.
We started talking about the maturation of Odell Beckham Jr. and you don't think the Giants should pay him?
Listen, he wants the money because we saw Sammy Watkins get paid and Brandon Cooks get
Who
big
doesn't want the money?
Well, I know, but Odell Beckham is a big risk. You're telling me there's no risk?
What's the risk?
Well, again,
please explain
this is
the
a
risk.
guy on the sideline. He's celebrating. He's got penalty
Celebrating is a risk.
Well, again, you add it all up. It's a body of work that he's done. The talent is there, but since he made that awesome catch against the Cowboys,
before that,
has he not kind of become a different person? He was quiet at LSU.
Different.
Were there any antics at LSU?
What is this different?
Were there any?
He's a receiver. No offense,
We
Greg,
know
but
they're
that's what
divas.
they do, right?
Listen,
No offense,
if there was no risk, Rashad, would they not have already paid him?
Since when does the NFL want to pay players?
Superstars? If this guy's a franchise guy and they trust him and they believe in him, we just said Sammy Watkins got paid. He hasn't done jack squat compared to Odell Beckham.
When did he get paid?
He got paid this offseason. Mike Evans just got paid. He got drafted the same year as Odell Beckham. Where's Odell's money? Odell's done more than Mike Evans.
Yeah,
but is it? They were going to trade him 5 months ago.
Who they were?
Right before the draft.
What happened to the trade?
Well, he cleaned up his act.
He cleaned up his act.
Odell he's been a
What is
choir
his act?
boy for
What is
5
the
months.
act? What is a choir? What religion is it?
Have we seen him on TMZ?
What is a choir boy? Now hold up. What's choir boy?
He's
mean?
been clean cut.
No. What is choir? What religion?
Religion. He's been
I don't know a choir
boy.
without.
He's kept in line. He's a good.
Kept in line.
He's a good soldier.
boy.
Yeah.
He's a good.
He's
he's
been
a good
great.
soldier.
Not on TMZ.
What are you talking
not
about?
partying. Not up in the clubs. Why weren't they paying him?
First of all, what's
coming
wrong
off
with
an injury?
Yeah.
That's why.
That's why he ain't
Come
getting
on.
paid.
What does the injury matter?
Yeah,
Sammy Watkins is hurt every year. Brandon Cooks got knocked out of the
But
Super
you're
Bowl.
not talking about paying Sammy Watkins the most money.
Neither of those guys.
As a receiver.
Neither of those guys are in
receiver.
Odell Beckham's class. He's a top 3 receiver in the league. Those guys are not. Odell Beckham is great.
What?
Why haven't they paid him?
Because he's coming off of injury.
Do you not understand
Do you
football?
not know how this works? If you're not a quarterback,
telling you,
if you're
listen.
not a quarterback, you don't build a team around a receiver. You build the team around a quarterback or a great defensive lineman or someone like that. Not a receiver.
Okay, so
I'm not saying he's not the most electric receiver out there when healthy, because I believe he is when he's healthy. But when you're coming off an injury, now you have to prove that you're going to get back to that stage and that status and that playing
he's got to
ability.
prove something after the years he's
Absolutely. That's just the way it works.
That he is healthy and he can continue to perform at a high level. Yes, I give you the fact that, yes, he has probably lost a couple bucks along the way because of some of the things he's done, bringing attention to him that's off the actual playing surface.
He's made up for it with
There's
the Nike
no
money.
doubt about that. Anybody will admit that. But you're not going to look at me and tell me that he's playing this choir boy and doing whatever he needs to do to get paid, and then he's going to go act whatever you feel he's going to act. Yeah. When he proves that he's healthy, he's going to get paid. The NFL is not concerned that much about your antics unless you are doing something that's damaging other people or harming something conduct. Whether when you play the game, inside the game, if you get a flag, the owners ain't worried about them flags. They worried about selling tickets and winning championships, and Odell's going to put you in a position to do that.
Pay the man his money.
Big fact.
Pay the man.
Pay the man.
No mercy.
Back to the NFL and Nick Foles, who started for the Eagles last night, but he was forced to leave early in the second quarter after being strip-sacked for a Patriots touchdown. Foles strained his right shoulder on the play. He had to leave the game. The Super Bowl MVP looked shaky in his preseason debut, finishing 3 for 9, passing for 44 yards. After the game, Foles said he'll get treatment today, but he feels optimistic about the injury. And we know the Eagles are already without Carson Wentz, who still has not been cleared for contact. Rob, we're going to start with you. No reason to worry about the Eagles, right?
Not at all. I just think they're in a really good position, to try to win another Super Bowl, or at least to get to another Super Bowl. And we talked about it briefly about the quarterback situation. Nick Foles did an unbelievable job. You could never duplicate what he did and how well he played. But Carson Wentz is the man on that team. He had that team rolling before he got hurt. He's a guy who still feels like there was something undone, that he wasn't able to finish the job a year ago. He wants to be out there and lead this team to a Super Bowl. And the other part is they're no longer the underdogs. You remember last year, everybody kept picking against them because once Carson Wentz went down, people just said, oh, well, they're not going to get there. It's impossible when you lose your starting quarterback to win a Super Bowl, and they wind up doing it. Now they have the confidence. They went out, they added some other pieces. They made this team, to me, better with the confidence that they have, and now they're going to have their quarterback who was going to be the MVP of the league. So I love where they are. I love the situation that they're in. I think if I was an Eagles fan, I would be like, something different to look forward to. It's not the same old same. I'm not wishing, hoping, and dreaming that Nick Foles can outplay Tom Brady again like he did in the Super Bowl. I don't care if Tom Brady threw for 500 yards. Nick Foles made every throw in that Super Bowl. He also caught the pass when it was thrown to him, unlike Tom Brady in a big moment. And he didn't fumble the ball away in the last 2.5 minutes. I'm just saying. Yeah. Nick Foles was that guy. Outplayed Tom Brady. A great Super Bowl win, but now it's time for the Eagles to win with their quarterback of the future.
So let me get this straight. You are majorly concerned about the New England Patriots, right? Because of Tom Brady's 41, and you have zero concerns about the Eagles. Despite the fact the Eagles lose their offensive coordinator, their Eagles quarterback is coming off an injury. The Eagles, 5 of their first 8 games are against playoff teams. He said the Patriots play 6 playoff teams the entire season. Okay, and let's not forget,
they're a good
with the
team.
Eagles,
they're a good team.
They've got great
good
personnel.
Teams got to beat
one
good
of the best
teams.
rosters, but their division is brutal. Okay, Alex Smith, awesome regular season quarterback. He's going to be dangerous in Washington. They could win one from against
dangerous.
The Eagles.
Is that where we are
He's
now?
a really good regular season quarterback.
Okay, that's
Number
nice.
2, New York Giants. You know, the darlings of Las Vegas right now are the New York Giants. They're not a 3-win team this year.
Have they seen
Saquon Barkley?
Have they seen Eli Manning's
Odell
number the last
Beckham?
4
Don't
years?
worry about Eli Manning, okay?
They gave him the parade
And finally,
years ago.
the Dallas Cowboys, who I think are going to be a very good team this year. I think they're playoff bound. That division is just brutal.
Playoff bound?
The Eagles are going to be in some trouble this year. I'm surprised you don't see it. I think they're maybe a 9-10 win team. It's not going to be easy. We know the hunted versus the hunter. They are going to be the hunted now. Everybody's gunning for them. I see a little pullback on the Philadelphia Eagles.
This is where I'm at with it. I am starting to worry about it because of what I saw last night with Nick Foles and his performance and him injuring his throwing arm. when I look at that, when you look at the offseason for the Philadelphia Eagles, the reason why they held on to Nick Foles was to ensure that they had a starter to make sure that Carson Wentz, our guy, our franchise, can just ease his way along in his rehabilitation process and then jump back in. Now you got Nick Foles, who got hurt last night. We don't know the status of how big that injury is, but I do believe that they got better around the quarterback position. However, when you look at inserting a Nick Foles and he knows I'm the second guy, I'm coming in at an already rolling team, that's a different position than saying you're the starter week 1 of the NFL football season for the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know if he can get it done the way he did inserting into a second fiddle role. It's a big difference. Many people don't think so, but when it's all on you from the outset, we're expecting greatness right away. What we saw in the Super Bowl, what we saw with our own eyes, how you say he outplayed Tom Brady, we're expecting that Nick Foles come week 1, week 2, however long it takes
I'm
for
not
Carson
expecting
Wentz.
it. I don't think that he can duplicate it. I think that's why I think the Eagles have an advantage, is that ultimately I don't know what week Carson Wentz is going to be ready to play, but if you have to give him a game or two, you just need him to hold it together so that they're not 0-3 to start the season. Play well enough to be 2-1 or something like that, and then Carson Wentz can get in there. And as we saw, you want to be hot late than early. Not to be in a big hole, but you want Carson Wentz to be ready when the time comes and you get closer to the end of the season and the playoffs and have this guy. I saw enough of Carson Wentz to believe in him that if he's healthy, he's going to be able to do and deliver what they need him to do. That's why I think they have a great shot, because it's not a hangover. It's not the same thing. It's not pie in the sky for Carson Wentz to play well. This guy was going to be the MVP a year
Rob,
ago.
I don't think it's a matter of needing to be a hangover. When you look at that division, to your point, Jason, they haven't had a repeat division winner since the 03-04 Philadelphia Eagles team. That was a Donovan McNabb team. This division has a revolving door of top, who's going to end up on top every single year.
I got it, until this year.
Maybe that may be the case,
Until this year.
but it's not going to be a cakewalk. And then you add on top of that the fact that they're playing in the NFC conference. Everyone there, it's so cluttered at the top. You're going to they play the Vikings again this year. Like, it's not going to be as easy as you're making it out.
No, I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying they got better. Not often. Most of the time with a Super Bowl team, you lose so many people, right? Guys go off, get paid up. I think their team is better. I don't look at them as the underdogs. Even when they played that home game against Atlanta, they were underdogs. When they played Minnesota, they were underdogs. They were underdogs to New England. They were underdogs the whole way.
You know why
nobody
that is.
believed that.
Well, no, because Nick Foles was awful at the end of the regular season.
Nobody
And
believed
let
that.
me add, you mentioned that Atlanta game. Do you guys remember that game? The Falcons were in control for most of it.
Did they win or lose?
Stop. Okay,
No,
it was
I'm telling
4th and
you.
goal from the 2, and
Did
they
they
couldn't
win or
complete
lose
the
the
pass.
game?
But
I'm
we
going to say
talk
that
about,
when you bring up the Jacksonville, New England
we
game.
keep talking about this. They won the Super Bowl, yes, and Foles was lights out, game of his life. We do know he was a journeyman for most of his career. He was nearly out of the league when he was in Kansas City. So depressed and not into football, Andy Reid had to call him to keep him playing football. So, listen, the whole narrative built around Nick Foles is nice. It was an awesome story. But the reality, he's not an awesome quarterback. And if Wentz is not able to go for the first couple weeks, they could be in trouble. They open with those same Falcons. I'm telling you, Atlanta's my pick to go to the Super Bowl. In
Atlanta?
The NFC. Atlanta is my pick.
Did you see them in the Super Bowl?
I just went to Vegas this week and put money on them.
Okay,
yeah.
good
So
luck.
Atlanta, I like them a lot.
You know what? I'm going to call your kids and tell them that your dad's doing you a
I didn't put no
disservice.
college education on the line.
You just put their college fund up at.
I did not do that.
I love that we can speak publicly about gambling.
I
now.
know. What world do we live in?
My concerns with the Eagles, again, it's really revolving around that quarterback position. To your point, did they go out and get better and add pieces? Yes, they did. Impressive. However, when your starting quarterback is coming off a torn ACL, The concerns are there, and they're real. Will he come out the gate and be as mobile as we know he's capable of being, as accurate? There's kind of that mental hurdle that he's going to have to overcome himself of getting back out there. It's like riding a bike all over again. When you haven't ridden it in a long time, it's like, wow, can I really do this again? And how will it feel to do this again?
Well, you saw Aaron Rodgers with the broken collarbone came back and won.
Carson Wentz is 25 years old.
Just
You talking about last year?
No. I'm saying before when he had the broken collarbone and came back and won the MVP.
So you're going back before the one last year?
Before the one last year.
Because when he came back last year, what happened?
No. I'm talking about the one before.
Okay,
and I'm just saying that
you gotta
Carson
dig for
Wentz,
that one a little bit.
I'm going to go for Carson Wentz, that if he's healthy, he will be the MVP in the National Football League.
Let me add one.
I'm going on the limb. That's how well he played last year.
You're going on a really shaky limb there. He was leading the MVP voting.
No, but I'm
late in the
saying
season.
even after the injury, if he comes back, he's my odds-on favorite to pick up where he left off.
Yeah, let me add this
That's what
quickly.
I'm saying.
25 years old for Wentz. I mean, he's obviously a great quarterback.
Wentz in a lifetime.
5 primetime games this year, and they have a trip to London. That schedule is unforgiving for the Eagles this year.
What, it's called a plane. They're not taking a 4-month boat trip.
I think they are taking a boat
Is
across.
that what it is?
Yeah,
A 4-month boat trip to London?
Got to play Jacksonville?
Did you just say Wentz in a lifetime?
Wentz in a lifetime.
You're killing me
Yeah.
today.
Headline writer?
No, that's Shannon. I stole it from Shannon.
Yeah, you did.
I love that.
He can't own it.
You can't own it. You're coming up with some gold today.
No mercy.
Sam Darnold impressed in his NFL debut last week, but things didn't go quite as well when he got his first start at Washington last night. Darnold completed 8 out of 11 passes for 62 yards, but he was also sacked twice and threw an interception in the second quarter. Darnold is battling Josh McCown and Teddy Bridgewater for the starting spot, and Todd Bowles spoke about the QB situation, saying, quote, "It's always been cloudy, it's never changed." Take a listen to Darnold after the game.
I thought I played good. Just continuing to go through my progressions and check the ball down when I need to and understand when, that internal clock's kind of going off. I think, down in the red zone when I got sacked, I could have gotten rid of it a little bit quicker. But proud of myself of hanging in there and just taking that sack, but continuing to be in field goal range. So just not doing anything dumb with the football. Just being smart. I think, I'm proud of myself for just being smart with the football and knowing exactly, what the scenario was and just trying to execute to the best of my ability.
All right, well, we are joined by FS1's Doug Gottlieb, who'll be hosting The Herd right after this show. Doug, what do you think? Should Sam Darnold get the start for the Jets in Week 1?
Should he, based upon his readiness? Yeah, his preparedness, sure. But should he, based upon the team he's playing with? Absolutely not. Throwing him to the Wolves, and last night they didn't have their starting right guard, didn't have their starting left tackle. Even when they are healthy, you're talking about one of the 5 worst offensive lines in football. Their tight end group is a mess. They got limited talent at wide receiver, but decent. Okay in the backfield. When you don't have anybody to protect you and you're just a rookie thrown to the Wolves 3 games in 10 days, you can get a lot of bad habits, establish a reputation. In a place like New York, it's hard to get out of the reputation that's established when they first see you, right? Remember that Charles Barkley commercial? You can never get a second chance to make a first impression. That's how it is in New York. And if you look at the hit rate of quarterbacks who start their first game over the last 5 or 6 years, Carson Wentz struggled his first year. Jared Goff didn't start right away, but you got an E.J. Manuel with the Buffalo Bills. E.J. Manuel isn't good enough, but would he have been better if he was on a better team than the Buffalo Bills when he was drafted? Deshaun Kaiser with the Cleveland Browns, right? Like, I don't care how good Carson Wentz is. Had he been behind that offensive line of the Cleveland Browns 2 years ago, he might not be the player that he was last year or that he will be when he returns from the ACL. So it's not Sam Darnold. I am a convert to the church of Sam Darnold. He was the #1 prospect. The Browns should have taken him, and the Giants should have taken him. And the Jets lucked into him with that trade they made, which only got them to the 3rd spot. But I just fear injury. I fear bad habits. I fear a reputation becomes established because he's constantly, you remember Shane Falco in The Replacements, right?
Wow.
Footsteps, right? You start hearing footsteps, and it changes the trajectory of your career.
Yeah, Doug, good point about the reputation in New York, but I will say this. Eli Manning had an awful start with the Giants, really bad All you got to do is win. He wins the Super Bowl. He's a king in New York. But regarding Darnold's situation, last night he was hearing footsteps in the pocket. Shades of USC, where he was seeing ghosts when he dropped back to pass because, listen, man, that offensive line was crumbling. Now, if the Jets can get the offensive line sorted out, as I think they will, there's no reason not to start Darnold. I know you said, I believe, 3 games in 10 days, but they're starting against Detroit, Miami, and Cleveland. Those are very winnable games. And by the stats from last year, those pass defenses are among the worst in the league. So there's a great opportunity out of the gate for Darnold. I just fear holding him, right? And saying, oh, we'll start him in November, December. This is a California kid, warm weather guy. You going to throw him into Buffalo in the first week of December or New England late in December just to get him some reps? I think you got to put him out there, let him see what it's like in live action early, and just throw him to the wolves. This is a guy who's ultra talented. I mean, I keep going back to that USC Rose Bowl when he was a 19-year-old and he just lit up Penn State in the fourth quarter. I believe 17 unanswered points. And you just put him in New York against bad teams early. I think Darnold will be fine.
I disagree with you, Jason. I'm not knocking Sam Darnold. I think his talent speaks for itself. His maturity speaks for itself. It's evident when we watch him play. But I'm with you. If you have a viable option that you can insert before Sam Darnold, before throwing him to the wolves, as you alluded to, I would go that route because of everything you said, the offensive line play and the skill guys around him. How successful will he be? Will he gain experience? Absolutely. But experience when you've been tortured, it's almost worse off than just having a good experience when you at least are not being tortured. So for me, I don't think you start Sam Darnold. I think you allow him to be the guy that you turn to, which makes him look even better, like a savior. Like it gives your fan base something to look forward to. If McCown doesn't work out, so what? This is why you drafted Sam Darnold. Insert him now. But to start him off right away, I just don't see it. I think the Jets have been kind of fumbling ever since he fell to them in the draft. They weren't really ready for it. They didn't know what to expect. That's why they had Teddy Bridgewater already in place just in case they didn't get a quarterback. So I just think you have enough in front of Sam Darnold to let him wait.
No, I'm ready. Sam Darnold should be the starting quarterback from day one. Here's an organization that just can't get it right. Enough with the also-rans and these quarterbacks who will get you nowhere. Doug, your points are all great. At some point, Jared Goff with the Rams got killed. Got absolutely killed his first year. Most people thought he couldn't even play, right? Because of everything that went on. And this guy went on last year to light it up. I'm not saying put Darnold out there to get hurt. But if I'm the Jets, I finally got a quarterback. Been looking for a quarterback since, I don't know.
Forever.
Is it Joe Namath or Richard Todd? I mean, it's been forever since they had a quarterback. Here's a real quarterback. I want to put him in, give him every opportunity to start winning now. And you know what? If it gets too tough in there, then I'm going to have to make some moves to shore up that offensive line or put a fullback in and protect him and just say, I don't care. Stay there and give this guy an extra guy to do whatever it can so this guy can play quarterback and finally turn this franchise around. That's where I'm at.
All right, there's 2 different parts to it. The first is, like, let's look at Russell Wilson, for example. Like, Russell Wilson was a guy, a 3rd-round draft pick, who succeeded as a rookie. Dak Prescott succeeded as a rookie, but what did they both have?
They had offensive lines.
Right. Remember,
And a lot of college experience.
And a running back.
Right. All of these things that they don't have. Like Russell Wilson, his first year in Seattle. Do you know he threw for less than 200 yards 9 times? 9 times. He was just a game. They had to manage the game. And yet they saw, hey, we got something in this guy. You don't have that in New York. We'd all agree, I mean, especially your team, the Jets, you don't have
The
that.
running back situation is murky.
Additionally, you mentioned shoring up the offensive line. What's the best way to do so? Okay, what assets you have that you could build up and that you could ultimately move for a player or for a draft pick? Teddy Bridgewater.
Right.
Teddy Bridgewater's going to get flipped. It's a great move. He's their Sam Bradford, right? Because I know one GM who I talked to last night was like, man, I'm excited to see Teddy Bridgewater because I might not need him as a starter, but I could have him as my backup to eventually be my starter. He has value on the market, and you have the chance to drive up his value if he shows he can survive a regular season game. The last part is, once you start Sam Bradford, you cannot pull him. Right? This is, you can't start a kid and then have him sit. Right? That whole thing just doesn't work. I mean, I know maybe it worked in Buffalo with Tyrod Taylor, but ultimately that relationship was going kaput. So what is the rush? The Jets aren't going to make the playoffs this year.
Do we know that?
Are they going to make the playoffs
Yes.
this year?
What?
He was talking him up earlier, Doug.
We can make the playoffs.
That was on with the other
They're going to steamroll the Patriots.
He's also the only guy that thinks Tom Brady stinks, right? Too. So I love you, but they're not making the. People were surprised they won 5 games last year.
No, they were supposed to win 2. They did.
Right. They overachieved. And look, if you're Todd Bowles, you're trying to keep your job. You're more likely to keep your job if you start the vets early, and then when you need some hope,
What if you
plug
catch
them in
lightning
late.
in a bottle with this kid and he's that guy?
He is that
He's
guy.
that next
No,
guy.
listen,
No,
he is the guy. But the best way for him to be that guy is to get him an offensive line, to get him a running game. The best way to do that is buy him some time, allow him to see other people play. You're going to get him some experience this year, but if you build up Bridgewater becomes the trade asset, which gets you either a player or maybe better, a pick, probably a second, maybe a third-round pick that you build up the talent. So when eventually he's the starter next year, and there's no question he's still got McCown, the perfect backup, but he has a legit offensive line and a legit chance as they're going to add some pieces also.
This is what happened with Carson Wentz in Philadelphia. Remember, they drafted him, said we're sitting him the whole year. And then there was another injury in the league, and they shipped Sam Bradford out of town, and all of a sudden, Carson Wentz starts. I think they went 8-8, something around that his first year. He was fine. Second year, he makes the massive leap. I don't see what the holdup is. I mean, if Carson Wentz can do it, other young quarterbacks can make the leap. What's the holdup? I know you want to wait, Greg, and say, Aaron Rodgers waited.
There's no perfect scenario where everything's going to always be or work out. I mean, there's just none.
There is no perfect scenario. There are perfect examples on both sides of this. If you look at Andrew Luck in the situation that he went into in the Colts, he didn't have an offensive line in front of him. What happened to him?
He made the playoffs 3 years in a row.
They did.
He actually won 33 games the first 3 years.
Absolutely.
It kind of hurts your argument.
No. It's not hurting my argument. What I'm saying is it could work out, but he took a beating, and now where do we see him? Injured. So I don't care how good he looks right now. It's great, but he doesn't. Andrew Luck had a lot more pieces from the skill positions around him. Sam Darnold does not have this. And so for him to just get thrown in there, yeah, it's exciting. It could be lightning in a bottle, but it also could blow up in your face. And to your point is what I've always thought. You then have nothing to move forward to. You can't pull him once you start him. You have nothing to excite the fans if you're losing. Yeah, we're losing, but we got Sam Darnold.
Let's go to his Jared Goff argument.
Jared Goff was terrible.
There was nothing to be excited about the number one pick, Jared Goff. He was 0-8, I think, as a rookie. And then it's like, boom, they get a new coach. Boom, they get this player. Bang, they're in the playoffs.
Right. Like they also had to fire their coach and completely change their culture.
Hey, Todd Bowles has been there. He hasn't won jack squat.
And if you're Todd Bowles, are you all look? The name you're looking for is David Carr, right? That's the guy who was the number one pick, who heard footsteps. He got crushed his first year.
Oh yeah.
I mean, a record number of sacks.
But he was never in the Sam Darnold category of
No. Whoa, stop. That's the point. We don't know what he could have been because his first year was so bad. Like, you sit here and go like, David Carr sucks. Well, yeah, we now know he stinks, but in his first year, because he had absolutely no offensive line, something got progressively worse. Like, look, dude, if you're surrounded by bad talent, you're going to look worse. This whole rising tide lifts all ships, like, that sounds great. The reality of it is, this is a team sport. If you got 10 dudes around you that can't pull their weight, and they're not as good as the rest of the league, you're going to look worse because of it. He's still a rookie. And so David Carr is the perfect example.
Carr was never on the
He was the number one overall pick.
Yeah, but nobody said he was going to be as good as Andrew Luck, which is what they're saying about Sam Darnold.
It was before Andrew Luck.
Yeah, but nobody. Fine. Who were they comparing to Carr? But when he came in the league,
he was definitely the Andrew Luck before.
He was the number one pick in the NFL never
draft.
like a can't miss prospect.
You can't get any.
Never going to be.
Then how did he become the number one overall pick?
Because it was a weak draft. Who was the number 2 pick that year? You remember? Number 3?
I do not recall.
It was a bad draft. That's why.
Number one fail. Yeah. The point is, like, number one overall pick, and he flamed out, and he never recovered from. Look, you're right. Wentz wasn't actually good his first year. Okay, and others have not been good. Jared Goff was not good his first year. It is not a death knell, but you do see the possibility there of a guy playing in an environment to which he ends up constantly hearing footsteps and never lives up to his potential.
Doug, we're going to end on that. We appreciate you joining us, and we appreciate you dressing up for us as well. That's right. All right, guys.
Maggio, we've shared meals, we've shared NCAA tournaments together.
Bread.
You're my favorite gaucho. You were my favorite gaucho.
No, I'm not. No mercy. Well, LeBron James joining the Lakers is definitely the top story of the NBA offseason. Some were surprised he left the East to go to such a young team in the West, but it didn't surprise his now former teammate Kevin Love, who had an idea the Lakers were in the mix. Take a listen.
I had somewhat of an idea. I had, like everybody, weighed the options and kind of had an idea of where he might go, but I knew it was probably between Cleveland and Los Angeles. I think he's always looking for a different challenge. He's always wondering what's next, and it feels like sometimes he's playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers. He's very, very mentally strong, knows the game of basketball so well, and sometimes there's something that he sees that other people don't.
LeBron James always thinking a few steps ahead. Listen, you put LeBron James on your team, you're adding wins to your season. That is without question. But Jason, we'll start with you. Are the Lakers now contenders in the West because they added LeBron?
100%. I would say, Jamie, we're looking at a 50-win team, top 3, top 4 team in the West. I mean, this is a guy, LeBron. Everybody... Rob Parker, who loves to be doom and gloom. Oh, Tom Brady's falling off a cliff. I can't wait to hear him talk about LeBron. He's going to pull back. He's turning 34. Dude just averaged 34, 9, and 9 in one of the best playoff runs in NBA history. I mean, he was incredible in the postseason last year. This is for a guy who led the league, I believe, in minutes played or minutes per game. LeBron's just on another planet right now. And, of course, him going to the Lakers, it feels like a chess move because within days they pick up guys who Lance Stevenson. What are they doing getting Rondo, JaVale McGee? What's that about? I think LeBron watched what happened with the Warriors against the Rockets. And, David didn't beat Goliath by standing toe-to-toe and slugging it. He came with the slingshot. LeBron knows I'm not going to outscore or outshoot the Warriors. We can't do that. Let's bring in some grimy dudes, Michael Beasley, guys who haven't won jack squat.
Guys who can't make shots consistently.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Rondo hasn't won anything in a while. JaVale McGee has won, knows the Warriors locker room. I think these were savvy moves by LeBron. I think the only team for sure better than them is the Warriors. I'm not sure about everybody else. This could be a team whose ceiling is number 2 in the West.
I agree with some of your points there. I agree more.
You got a fever? You all right?
No, I think they will be a contender, a playoff, and in playoff contention. But here's why. Because you add LeBron James. You talk about you immediately add wins. Well, in 09-010, when before he went to the Miami Heat, they were 47-35. He got there. He added 11 wins to their season, 58-24. When he left, before he got to the Cavs, 2013, 2014, they were 33-49. He arrives, 20-plus wins, 53-29. The Lakers last year, 35-47. Last place T-Wolves had 47 wins. They need 12 wins. Can LeBron provide them with those 12 wins? I believe he can. Does that put them into the upper echelon of the West? No. These wins that I'm mentioning came in the Eastern Conference. Most of them came in the Eastern Conference, a conference that he has dominated for years. So now you're moving over to the West, and you're saying all of a sudden the Lakers are in contention. Yes, they are, because you have the number 1 player in the world. But are they in? What kind of contention are they in? When they get to the playoffs, are they easy out? No, because you have LeBron James. But realistically, am I threatened by them? No.
Ooh.
No, I'm not threatened by them because they only have LeBron James. And that's not going to be enough in the West. I think they're building and waiting for next offseason for him to get that next superstar alongside him, and then we'll see what the Lakers can really be.
I can't wait to go to the big giveaway night at the Staples Center when they give away white towels for throwing in the towel for the first year. Oh. Are you kidding me with this team and roster? Everybody say, oh, they're a top 4 seed. Oh, they're going to get home play. No, they are not, Jason McIntyre. No, even with LeBron. I'm glad you brought up the Eastern Conference. Even in the Eastern Conference, that Cavaliers team last year, which was so bad, is better than the team he's playing with now. now. Eddie's playing in a tougher conference than he did. He struggled with the Pacers. Oladipo and who? 7-game series. Boston with missing 2 stars. 7-game series. Yes, they rolled over Toronto, but everybody does. My point is, this is not a great team yet, and LeBron has given up the first year. They might be a 7th, a 6th, 7th seed, get knocked out in the first round. Maybe they get to the second round. I could see them getting knocked out. Here's another thing. This team that LeBron just joined. Last year, against the Blazers, the Wolves, the Jazz, and Pelicans, and Clippers, this Lakers team was 1-16. When you take the Clippers out and just go with the 4 playoff teams, they were 0-13 against them. So now you're asking LeBron to come in and do what? Win 20 more games than they did a year ago in this conference? It's not going to happen. You're asking for way too much, even as good as LeBron is. And yes, I'm going to give you just talked about it, all the minutes that he's played. It's going to catch up. It catches up to everybody. LeBron James, for 6 weeks during the regular season, had the worst plus-minus defensively. Is he the same player defensively?
Not at all.
Even last year in the finals, when Kevin Durant's going off, LeBron doesn't even switch. He refuses to even switch on him. He just goes, go ahead, Rodney Hood or George Hill or somebody else, anybody but me. I'll just stay over here and do this, whatever I'm doing, because he knows that he can't even defend Durant. Okay. So this whole notion that he's going to come, they're going to drink a magic formula, and all of a sudden be the top team out west is comical, is ridiculous, even as great as LeBron James is.
Where would they
He's
finish
not that
then?
guy.
Where would they finish in the West?
7th or 8th.
Bottom.
6, 7, 8.
Yes.
6, 7, 8.
6, 7, 8.
Okay.
First of all, how much time do I have here? Because I need to destroy this nonsense these guys are talking about. Okay, first of all, LeBron's never finished below a 4 seed in the playoffs in the East ever. So this idea of him being 6, 7, 8,
East.
this idea of him being 6, 7, 8 is laughable. Okay, first of all, Cleveland Cavaliers roster last year better than this Lakers?
Absolutely.
No way!
Yes.
No, Rob, I'm going to start
There's
calling
5
you
or 6 guys
Dr.
on
Doom
there.
because you're so negative.
There's
it's
5
unbelievable.
or 6 guys who won a
That Cavs
championship
roster
on
last
that
year
roster.
was a joke.
No, it wasn't.
By the way, it was overhauled mid-season because it was so bad because LeBron wasn't playing defense because he wasn't interested in this team.
The Lakers
he
roster
needed
that he
Isaiah
just
Thomas
joined
to get
won
the hell out of
35
town.
games, Greg, and they didn't even make the playoffs.
Next note, great number with the Timberwolves winning 47 games in the West. They were the last seed. The 3rd seed won 49 games. It was a huge logjam. So this idea, guys, that all of a sudden LeBron's going to go to the West, he's going to struggle against mighty Portland. Oh, I love Damian Lillard. And Anthony Davis and who? Okay? And the Denver Nuggets, who a producer here loves. Guys, we're talking about a bunch of teams with good players. LeBron is an all-time great. Brandon Ingram his game is going to get so much better.
Did he struggle against Boston with LeBron James, and they had no stars on the Boston Celtics? Did they struggle?
LeBron.
Did they struggle?
It was like Michael Jordan early in his career playing with nobodies. He couldn't get to the finals.
How could you say
LeBron did that
nobody?
last year. What do you mean nobody? George Hill, somebody?
Kevin Love won a
Tristan
championship.
Thompson? I mean, come on,
They all
stop.
won a championship.
Because of LeBron. Rob,
This
you're
is-
losing your mind.
This is what I think you're missing, Jason. This is the first year that we're actually going to give LeBron a pass. And he's actually taking a pass because he
LeBron don't need no passes.
No,
okay?
understand what I'm saying. He is taking because he knows I'm not going to win it this year. When he was in the East every year, the expectation was you better get to the finals because there's no excuse. It's you and then there's the West. It's you and the West. Now he's joined the West. This is going to give him a chance. What I believe, if I'm foreseeing the future and foretelling the future, he's going to get rest for the first time in his career because he's not going to go deep into the playoffs. He's going to have a longer offseason. He's going to be able to recruit another player and bring him on for the following season. So I think they'll be a relevant team this year and a actual contender to win it all the following season.
See, I look at it as I think people think, oh, well, he's going to win in year 3 or 4. It's the exact opposite. LeBron has to win in the first 2 years or he doesn't win at all. And everybody thinks that he's going to continue to play at this level, which has already deteriorated, especially defensively. And so if he doesn't get it done, that's why this is so weird. But I think LeBron is thinking he don't want to take any more L's in the championship. He's already got 6. So now by coming to the West,
Yes, Rob.
coming to the West, He's either going to beat the Warriors and have a chance to win a championship or not get in and not get another L. I don't think LeBron wants 9 losses in the championship.
So wait, are you saying they're going to wave the white towel that you're going to the giveaway night for?
Yes.
Are you saying that LeBron's going to compete against the Warriors this year?
No, he's already waved the towel this year, which is so shocking that a guy at his age and as many years is saying, who was once chasing Michael Jordan and the championships, has basically said, I'll take a mulligan here, and I'm not going to try to win.
You see this card? This is logic. It's just getting tossed out the window with you. I mean, you're losing your mind here. Have you looked at the Vegas numbers?
I don't
for
care what
over-under
Vegas.
Wins for the Lakers.
This guy just
it's
got
higher
back
than
from
the
Vegas,
San Antonio Spurs.
That's nice.
Why would you sell LeBron short? It's so comical
Higher than
to
the
hear
Spurs
people.
because they don't have Kawhi Leonard.
Spurs don't got
Right.
nobody. Yeah, the West just got weaker with the Spurs. I mean, I'm telling you. LeBron James and the Lakers are going to be fine. Kyle Kuzma's game's going to be raised. Brandon Ingram, year 3. Do you know Brandon Ingram? People want to take shots at him. His first year, he played with D'Angelo Russell, rookie point guard. He didn't want to pass. Last year, he played with Lonzo Ball, rookie point guard. He didn't really know what he was doing out there. Finally, he's playing with somebody who gets it.
You were the same guy who said Paul George was coming to L.A.?
Because that's different.
No, it's
I
not.
miscalculated. Here's what I miscalculated. That 2 weeks before July 1st, Kawhi Leonard was going to say, I want out. As soon as Kawhi Leonard said he wanted out of San Antonio, the Lakers just stopped recruiting Paul George. Just said, why would we want him? We could maybe get Kawhi.
You just said maybe.
Maybe could get Kawhi. They made it. They were gunning for
Paul
Kawhi
George
Leonard.
talked about coming home for 2 years.
And the Lakers kicked him to the curb because
wouldn't even take a meeting with Magic Johnson.
You were in
high school. You
were in high school one day, and you have a girl who wants to go to the prom with you. And all of a sudden, the homecoming queen becomes eligible, and you're like, oh, I kind of want to go for the homecoming queen. That's what the Lakers were with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. And they decided we're not going to trade for Kawhi. We're just going to stand pat. And next summer, maybe we get Jimmy Butler. Maybe we get Kawhi. Maybe Clay.
Where are you saying that they finished this year?
50 to 53 wins, top 3 in the West.
Book
it.
And what happens in the playoffs?
Well, we'll see what happens in the
How?
I don't know. Is somebody going to get injured?
But you think they built the team to compete with
This year.
LeBron
high
never
offense.
would punt. I mean, that's lunacy.
Yes, he did punt. He came here without knowing who his teammates were.
He's trying a different strategy
He punted.
with different guys, different mindset.
No, he moved out here.
I don't mind it. Hey, by the way,
here to be a movie star.
His
You
buddy
know that.
Carmelo Anthony was on the market. Did he even call him and say, we could use you? No. He said, Michael Beasley, come on down. Let's play with you. I'm telling you, there's a method to LeBron's madness.
Michael Beasley.
I trust LeBron.
Yeah,
I trust guys like Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and LeBron, winners, guys who know how to win and deliver.
Is that what the chess match comment was about? Was about putting the pieces together to compete with the Warriors? Or was it about getting in Los Angeles and positioning yourself to be closer to your businesses and life after basketball?
Can it be both?
No, it can't be both. No, it can't
No, I
be.
think it can be both.
He's a player. If I'm a fan, I want this guy to concentrate on playing basketball for the next 4 years. The first thing he came out here is he announced 3 or 4 deals that obviously were in the works before because they turned around so quickly. So he was focused in on coming to L.A. He told fans that he was going to go to Culver City to Blaze Pizza. He
never
jilted
said
them on
that.
that.
He never
well, he
said that,
hinted
Rob.
that he was doing that. He did. He hinted. So I'm just saying, which one is it? LeBron, there's plenty of time. He's 34. Why are you worried about your post-basketball career? Focus in on basketball. Try to win Los Angeles another championship, and then you worry about all the other events and other opportunities, Greg, are going to be there. He doesn't need to be doing a movie. He wants to be the featured guy in a movie. Why?
Rob, we were together until you just started talking
Yeah.
like that. Like, I think this is it is the chess move. The fact that I'm playing everything, but I'm strategic. You said it yourself. These things were already in the work when he was winning.
When he was losing a championship.
When he was winning in Cleveland,
they were losing.
Things were already in the work. This didn't just start because he came to LA. It was already taking place. That's the chess move. He understands that in order for everything that I want to get done off the court to work, I have to stay atop the number 1 player in this league. I have to be who I've always been.
He's going to be invited to the party, whether he came to L.A. or not, after his career. LeBron James, there was going to be open arms for him because of the iconic figure that he is. So that door is always going to be open. He didn't have to move to L.A. He wanted to live here. He didn't come here to win a championship. I'm telling you, he's out of the championship business, LeBron James. He's
just,
out.
Rob's just mad because he went to Blaze Pizza and he was.
You're waiting there. He left you at the
All
altar.
the kids out there in the hot sun, and he didn't show up. Greg, you know that's not right. Can they put more cheese on that pizza?
Better put some respect on LeBron's name. I mean, seriously, Rob.
No mercy.
Thank you for listening to the Undisputed podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Keep an eye out for the weekend edition of the podcast tomorrow morning, featuring this week's best segments. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.